What's up, humans? Welcome to another episode of Shots from the Winchester podcast, brought to you by Greencastle Consulting, your nation's premier strategy execution firm. I'm your host, Al Green, and today we're going to have an awesome conversation about AI with Scott Hopp.
Awesome.
Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
Excited.
It's been a minute. I've been wanting to talk to you because we're on Instagram together, and I watch you talk about cars. You're all like, there's like awesome cars. You got this like awesome pool, and this whole like this whole thing is cool.
Yeah, living life, man.
Your dog's amazing.
Bentley's very good. Yeah, the Bentley's awesome, dude.
Bentley.
Yeah.
Bentley. What? See,
Yeah.
Cars.
I can't afford the Bentley, so I got a dog named Bentley. So that's how we worked it out.
That's great stuff. We're going to get into a conversation about AI, and I know a lot of people are very confused or don't understand what what AI is evolving into, and is this going to affect their jobs, all that stuff. So we're going to break that down. We're going to have a conversation about that. But before we get started, let's learn a little bit about Scott. So you work here at Greencastle.
Yep.
How long have you been working at Greencastle?
Somehow it's been over 2 years. I started as an intern. I was one of the first skill bridgers, which was great.
Oh, wow.
I call myself the guinea pig. But yeah, so started out as that, and then was hired full-time in December. So it's been a little over 2 years full-time.
Nice.
It's going by quick, though. It feels like 2 months. So.
Time is an illusion, my man.
Yeah. Big time.
What's your position here at Greencastle?
Yeah, so I work as a management consultant. On the client side, I work as an IT project manager. So yeah, it's a dream job for me.
Nice. And now everyone that works here is a veteran or active service right now, or they're in reserves or something. Are you in reserves, active, or are you retired?
So I'm a veteran. So I got out of the Marine Corps, 28 about a year ago now. So, yeah.
Nice.
Been
That's
in the
fresh
civilian
for
world
you.
for a year, yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Do you miss the Marine Corps? How
Yeah, I miss parts of it. Some of it, obviously, I don't. If you're in the Marine Corps, you know what I'm talking about. I really miss the, hanging out with the boys, hanging out in the barracks, sleeping in the dirt, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But, thankfully here at Greencastle, since we're all veterans as well, I still get that camaraderie aspect working here too. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's a different world out in the civilian world compared to the Marine Corps, but Greencastle is a good spot to be.
Absolutely. I understand that from my perspective. It's been a while since I was in the military, but I know we do camping trips. We do all kinds of stuff here to kind of keep that culture going. And
For
it's
sure.
Unique for a company to have everyone here as a veteran.
Yeah,
which is definitely unique. And I think that's what helps us as a company strive stronger for our clients as well, because of that veteran kind of
sure.
that personality that we have. Let's get into a conversation about AI.
Yeah.
Because I've been so excited about AI, and there's been so many new things coming out that are scary, but at the same time are like really, really intriguing when you start to think about how useful this is as a tool.
Sure.
One of the first questions I want to get into is, how do we prevent ourselves from going obsolete? Because that's one of the biggest questions that I hear people talk about, like, oh, AI is going to take my job.
Yeah.
Like, how do we prevent that?
That is a valid concern, especially with AI. That's probably the main concern I hear, outside of, privacy and safety concerns. But in order to not go obsolete, I think we all need to just realize that this technology is here. It's a thing.
Yeah.
And it's not just some imaginary, fairy tale. It's here now. So I think to prevent ourselves from going obsolete, we need to just, accept that fact, find ways to incorporate it into our work and also our life, and stay ahead of the curve as much as we can. It's not going to replace us, but I strongly believe that it's going to make us all better, more efficient, save us time on those more routine and monotonous tasks, and really just take ourselves to the next level, because you have AI supporting you. So
Wow.
it's not going to replace you, but it will take everything to the next level. Looking at the other end of the spectrum, let's say you don't get on the AI train.
Yeah.
You might become obsolete one day, because you're not going to perform the same level as everyone else does, and compete at the same level. So it's definitely something that you want to try to get ahead of as much as you can. I know in the last year, with OpenAI and everything, it's been a lot more mainstream, but finally we have all the tools here to start learning ourselves, figure out ways to implemented into our lives.
Yeah.
I use it even day-to-day life outside of work every day.
Yeah.
Every day. So some crazy projects using
Yeah.
AI. So.
And there's something to be noted about AI, especially the open AI and everything like that. These are not smart like the way you think like AI is smart. Like you think, oh, there's some brain in a computer somewhere that's thinking. It's taking information that already exists,
Right,
and it's extrapolating that and it's creating things that you're asking for. So it's more of a prompt based type of technology. That it is now. This is not a quantum computer.
100%.
Yeah.
I think a phrase that applies greatly that I've learned in an AI class I was in a couple months ago is the garbage in, garbage out mentality. AI is only as beneficial as the data you provide it, your input. Your output is only as great as your input. So if you just ask it, tell me about quantum physics. I mean, that's so broad, but if you train it on quantum physics, train it on project management, and just give it data that it can work from, not only will it reference, past information, but it can also forecast future decisions for you too.
Wow. Yeah. Now that's very, very good for a business, especially like a business like Greencastle, to be able to leverage that type of technology for future work, especially working with our clients and things. For sure. A lot of our clients are starting to move into this world as well, which is why Greencastle has been adapting AI and trying to make it so that clients understand what AI actually
especially
is.
With how new it is. I think the main concern, outside of going obsolete is working through those privacy concerns. How does this technology utilize data that could be confidential or sensitive?
Yeah.
I strongly believe that there are ways to use AI without sending that information to the world.
Yeah.
But I think the possibilities are endless, especially being in the project management sphere, utilizing AI. For example, I'm just kind of thinking out loud here is you could utilize meeting transcripts from Microsoft Teams, create a AI chatbot that can utilize the transcripts and create meeting notes, create user feedback, identify any risk or issues that you might not see. I utilized this on just some, internal Greencastle calls where we didn't have sensitive or confidential information, and it worked out very well. I mean, it created, instead of manually typing meeting notes every single meeting, it automatically did it, and it analyzed, future risk and concerns. Taking it one step further, you can really create another AI bot, so to speak, that utilizes all the data from those meeting transcripts and all the meetings and inputs from the week, and it can create status reports for you too. So.
Now, when you're talking about creating an AI bot, now let's look at ChatGTP for instance. The ChatGTP 4 option, this is like a $20 a month upgrade that you make for this. It's a little bit more active than the 3.5 or 3.7 that's out now. When you start talking about creating a chat bot, you're creating something with prompts based on what you want specifically.
For sure.
You're asking it to give you these input points. Yeah.
So it's with sticking to OpenAI, because there's a bunch of different ones out now. With OpenAI, if you have that premium or plus subscription, you get access to custom GPTs. So you can create your own custom GPTs. For example, the meeting bot or the status bot, or you can create one for any of the knowledge areas for IT project management.
Wow.
Even outside of work, I mean, the custom GPTs, like what I've kind of taken a hobby at is finding a way to use AI for anything. Like, okay, how can I automate this or automate that? Me personally, one of my hobbies is going to the gym, and at my gym they have what they call an in-body scan. You step on this scan, it does some scientific stuff that I don't want to speak about, but it checks your body fat percentage, your weight, skeletal muscle mass, even like your left bicep compared to your right bicep in terms of size.
Oh, wow.
And it gives you a printout of data. And I was like, okay, well, let's see what we can do with this data.
Yeah.
And it gives you a printout. So I created a custom GPT that reads all of the data, your basal metabolic rate, your, caloric expenditure and all that stuff. And it took that data and created a optimal meal plan
What?
So I created an
Dude, I
optimal
gotta
meal
do
plan
that.
for, 4 meals a day.
Wow.
Coming off of vacation, I did not follow it the last few days, but anyways, it created a meal plan, but then it's
Wow.
like, okay, how can we take this step further? I took that meal plan, created a automated shopping list.
Oh, wow.
And now with OpenAI, they have API integrations. And API, for those that don't know, it's essentially that middleware integration between one system to another system, that middle ground. They have APIs out there now where you can take your custom GPT or your API to an app like Instacart. So then you can take that shopping list and automate your grocery shopping.
Wow.
So I went from the in-body scan at the gym to the most optimal food to eat at my doorstep. I didn't have to go shopping.
Wow.
But I think this mentality, what I'm trying to get at here, is what we need to implement as project managers or as change managers,
Right.
utilizing the data that we're given anywhere and find ways to make it the most efficient, take it to the next level, because that next level, it's coming since AI's here. So.
Oh, yeah. That kind of bridges into the conversation of how do we leverage AI for business? Yeah. And with a company like, we won't talk about the companies that we work for because like the companies that we work with.
Yeah.
But the companies that we work with, how do they leverage AI in their business on a day-to-day basis?
And every single aspect of it, really. I mean, going from reporting to status reports, day-to-day operations, working within an agile environment, you have so much data at hand.
Yeah.
You can not only make decisions on the spot, but you can forecast, risks or concerns that might happen that you might pass over as a human. Because AI can capture every single data point where, personally for me, I kind of lose attention after 30 seconds.
True. Honestly, that is like so much more efficient. There's so many things that like I'll lose track of.
Yeah.
There's emails that I'll lose track of. There's like messages that may come through.
Yeah.
And anything like that. If you can plug that into an AI chatbot that can respond.
Yeah.
And that just sounds like the easiest possible way for you to like function and have your life.
Because like you look at the natural, project life cycle, the IPEC process, initiation, planning, execution, and closure. You can implement AI in every single aspect of that. Initiating the project, planning the project. Let's say you're analyzing business requirements. You can utilize AI to help you find the most efficient answer to those requirements. Execution phase, monitoring and following status and progress. And I mean, you can use it any step of the way.
Yeah.
I could talk about it for hours, honestly.
Honestly, I could talk about it too. That's another point coming up. The advantages of AI. What is the the advancement of AI in 2024? And before we got on here, I talked about what's the name of the new thing?
Sora.
Sora. Yes.
Video.
So we're moving into a place now where this new thing through OpenAI, Sora, can create video that is so hyper realistic that you can't tell the difference if it's a real person or not. And it's so it's only being pushed out to select people at the moment, so it's not available right now publicly, like broadly. But when it is available, it's just like when you go in there and you say, "Hey, make a photorealistic image of this or that," blah blah blah. But it'll be a real person looking like a real person.
Yeah. I mean, let's look at content creation, for example, utilizing AI. I mean, I've seen YouTube documentaries out now that were created solely from AI.
Yeah.
So, for example, you can use AI to create an idea. You can use AI to create topics for that idea, talking points for that idea, key facts or interesting findings. And before you know it, you have a whole hour-long script.
Yeah.
Now you can also use AI and, the OpenAI solutions coming out soon, but there's other alternatives out that can already take that data that you have from other AI, I call them bots, but really they're just different AI prompts, and you can create visuals off of those too. So already the technology is there. I think just as a whole, we really need to sit down and think about the privacy concerns.
Yeah.
Whether or not AI even cares about sensitive information or not, or,
Right.
kind of go from there.
When you think about it, it's AI is not smart.
Yeah.
We have to give it everything for it to give us back what we
Yeah.
want. So we just need to be aware of that, obviously. And as you say, privacy, that's come up a few times. Privacy is really important, because even when I use AI, when I use the chatbot, I don't put in everything. I put in pretty generic information first, and then I'll fill it in afterwards, just to fill it in and make sure that it's accurate, because I just don't know where it's going. I don't know who else is using it.
I think that's going to be the next step that we'll think through. What if we get to a point where we can use sensitive information and know that it is held in a tight capsule where it's not going to go everywhere,
right? That would be nice.
I think that would help out with forecasting for projects and all of that.
Yeah. I guess the next question, and this is something that I've been doing some research just to figure out what people are asking about. One of the biggest questions that I've seen online is, should I worry about my job, that AI is out there?
Nah, I wouldn't worry. I mean, unless you're just completely disregarding it and not even thinking about it, I wouldn't worry about your job. I mean, I know there's probably exceptions out there. I can't think of every job in the world, but at least for our profession, it's just another tool in our toolkit to be the best that we can be.
Yeah.
It's taking, it's one thing we can't change is that human element. So I feel like AI kind of fills in those gaps of where we may come short.
Yeah.
For example, you might be in a meeting, you might miss it apart, or you might get distracted, or what have you. You might miss something. So AI can help fill in those gaps, make you, most efficient.
That's a good look. Yeah. I would be remiss if we didn't talk about Tesla.
Yeah.
If we didn't talk about Elon Musk.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
So another thing that we're talking about as far as just the bridge off of that question about, should I worry about my job? The brain chip that they just installed in the one person, they finally have their first.
Oh, the Neuralink.
Yeah, the Neuralink. So this person is, they're talking about getting people back their mobility, people who have lost limbs and or not lost limbs, but maybe lost mobility in those limbs. Trying to get these people to walk again, trying to get people to see again, not even again, but maybe they've never been able to see. And they're creating these these brain chips for this Neuralink. And that's another thing that Elon Musk has been talking about, trying to leverage humanity and AI, because otherwise AI is going to be so much further than us if we don't integrate it into our brains.
You brought up a good point, because it's that fine line, you got to have ethical considerations in place.
Yeah. It gets weird.
I think there is a limit. Neuralink, we all got our opinions on that. I think it's a little too far sometimes, but
yeah. I'm curious to see people walk again. I'm curious to see people see.
For sure.
If that happens, and this is probably why
it does benefit.
It's been pushed a lot further into the human trials. But something people may not understand, though, is that brain chips, they're not new.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for over 20, 25 years, 30 years, actually. Some other companies have been doing this, and they've had other things that are more on the surface, whereas Neuralink goes deeper into the brain, which is why they think it'll be a lot more functionable, and it'll translate further into the future than some of the more surface.
I mean, with Neuralink, I know that's on the far end of the spectrum, but what about virtual reality too?
Oh man,
I think that kind of fell off the map a little bit last year with AI kind of kicking off, but I'm surprised that we don't have, it's crazy, it sounds, virtual headsets on all of us for our work.
By now,
we rather sit on a Teams conference call looking at virtual Photoshop LinkedIn pictures than have headsets on where we're actually in like a virtual conference room. I messed around with a little bit on that, and you can have, Apple just came out with one, but you can have presentations up. You can be in the same conference room just virtually with everybody. So.
That's cool. And then with the Apple Vision that just came out.
Just came out. That's a whole nother story.
But like in 2 years, like between now and 2025, 2026, we're going to have so many AR products out there. I'm going actually Saturday to
Really?
do
For the Apple Vision
thing. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. It's $3,900 or $3,500,
right,
something like that. And so it is literally like buying yourself a brand new MacBook. Completely.
But you gotta look at what it's providing. I mean, it's as valuable as a car. You know?
Oh yeah. Honestly, and I see people jumping out of their Tesla Cybertrucks with this on.
Yeah.
Like, controlling their universe, whatever they're doing. With
you almost don't even need a car with that thing. As crazy as it sounds, because like what comes work, like I said, you could be in a virtual conference room.
Yeah.
You can virtually order food via an app through VR or AR.
Yeah.
And have food at your door.
That's
instead
nuts.
of going out for lunch.
That's nuts. That's the next level. I mean, even now, like I just have date night with my wife.
Yeah.
We're just hanging out at the house, and we'll just like order Uber Eats, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is like I can get any food anywhere.
Yeah.
Just dropped off at my door.
As I remember when the metaverse was all up in the news, Nike bought a huge virtual skyscraper.
Oh,
but
really?
you can order a shoes off of the metaverse, and then it would show up to your door too. So
that's nuts.
I think we're definitely kind of holding ourselves back in what's possible.
Oh yeah, I mean the technology is just so it's just every month it feels like something new is happening, and that's pretty accurate. I think that with technology growing at such an exponential pace, that we're getting information and we're already out of touch. Almost immediately. Like oh, we just learned about this last week. Oh, last week? No, that's we're so far behind that now. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So I heard that you created a chatbot for Greencastle.
Oh yeah, that thing. So
it's called the GAC bot.
Yeah, the GAC bot. It was sort of like a proof of concept type of idea. As Greencastle grows, which is pretty freaking fast already. 2 years.
Yeah.
We have guides, methodologies, best practices, and standards, everywhere, it seems like. So the GAC bot is trained on those methodologies, the IMM, our best, PM practices, best BC, best everything that we do.
Yeah.
And this chatbot is trained on that information. So then you can go in there, ask it a question like, hey, what do I do with a stakeholder that might be resistant? It'll analyze, our CM guides, what have you, to give you the most accurate answer instead of manually going through each guide, trying to find the right page.
Yeah.
I always joke around. It's like Control F on steroids. So it looks at everything for exactly what you want.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you're the man when it comes to AI right now, especially And as it evolves, I love to talk more about AI with you.
Yeah.
And, if the audience, especially if you're watching the show and you have any questions, definitely leave that in the comments section below. And we'll be able to try to address that in the comments for you. Especially if you have any questions about like how is AI evolving into certain spaces, especially like that's just fun conversations to have, like learning about how is AI going to affect sports, how's AI going to affect the way we consume media in general,
or anything,
because a lot of stuff that looks real, but we don't know it's not real.
That's gonna be scary too.
So like how do we know what we're looking at is actually real or not? So we're gonna leave that for another conversation for another episode, because I think that'll be awesome. But Scott, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
You have anything you want to leave with the audience?
Oh, that's it. I mean,
know what? We used to do a little thing, and I've stopped doing this, but I'm going to do it with you right now. Do you have any leadership tips for people out there?
Ooh, leadership tips.
Yeah, like maybe something that you do that maybe you embody or something.
Yeah, just I mean, like work hard and stay humble. As cheesy as it sounds, like especially in leadership. People, they'll sometimes lean on you. Like they might be in an uncomfortable situation. They're like, all right, how's Scott acting during this? If you're calm and collective, understanding everything's going to be all right, I think they'll follow suit. Just stay positive. And just find solutions to complex problems. I mean, it's pretty just simple as that.
Pretty cut and dry.
Make sure. I mean, one thing I like to do too is, if as a leader, sometimes people might just focus on themselves, but if you focus on the rest of your team, I mean, everybody's going to win. And I think at the end of the day, if everybody's winning, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Yeah. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. And guys, make sure you like and subscribe. We put out episodes every week. And on behalf of Greencastle Consulting, your nation's premier strategy execution firm, I'm Al Green, Scott Hopp, and we'll see you in the next episode.